NEMC TV. Our environment, our life.
CSE has been working with different African countries for last 10 years on different environmental issues ranging from urban air pollution, solid waste management, industrial pollution, energy, rural wastewater treatment system, decentralized wastewater system and rainwater harvesting. Keeping that in mind, this time we have come here to release our book on strengthening environmental audit in Africa. Based upon our interaction with around 8 countries, we have reviewed their audit legislation, audit guideline and some of the reports and found though the country have tried to come out with a strong legislation, but it has been poorly implemented on the ground. Even the report which we have analyzed, like there was a cement factory from Rwanda, the analysis, the recommendation was very weak. I do not know how a regulator can take a decision based upon a weak audit submitted to them. Take the example, many of the reports even do not mention what is the production capacity of the plant, how much coal they are using, how much water they are using, what is the quality of the wastewater which they are discharging. What they have done their best to put all the legislation which they have required. And when it comes to the environmental performance, like I remember, there was an audit report from a tannery industry in Nigeria. It was an 84-page document and only 5 pages was provided to discuss the environmental issues. Now, if such weak reports are given to the regulator, then how do you think regulator will be able to take action? Regulator anywhere around the world are weak in manpower. So, I think it is time for African regulator to start thinking how innovatively they can work to improve the environmental governance in their country. And here the starting point is environmental audit. The first thing which I want to say is they have to strengthen their legislation. There are many still, I will not say legislation are weak, but still they have to make sure legislation guides auditor to come out with a specific example. Legislation should not give vague guideline to the consultant. The moment you give vague guideline, you get vague reports. You should also talk about historical data. Environmental audit means how was your performance last year and how you want to improve in future. But nobody has talked about last year information. Audit should have 2 to 3 years of information. Legislation should talk about what kind of data, especially legislation should talk about a separate guideline for environmental audit, maybe a sectoral guideline. And then those guidelines should have information in tabular form, which can be used by the regulator. Right now, what is happening? For example, I reviewed the audit report of a cement plant from Zambia. And they said stack emission from kiln section was 1.1 mg per normal meter cube. Now tell me how a regulator can accept such a small value. That 1.17 I think will come when plant is almost not operating. So like we need to do capacity building of regulator on different sectors so that they are strong enough intellectually to review the audit report of different sectors submitted to them. Again, I want to say that African regulator needs political will. Industrialization is important, but it does not mean you pollute your pristine environment right now. Africa needs a new way of development.
NEMC TV. Our environment, our life.